No, I'm just gonna take it and act like it's mine. Like, heard that.
Heard that. Kind of like me and my dad have the almost guarantee. Something we say a lot, and we realized,
Is that what you say? It's almost guaranteed?
Almost guaranteed. Kind of like the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They should be able to hear you now. It should be fixed. Man, thank goodness for people like Mike, who's sitting around taking a big dump, listening to us on the screen.
True.
Right?
We would have been halfway through, not know.
Remember, he told us that one day. He's like, I'm taking a dump watching you guys play games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll just delete that out of the video feed. It'll be like it never happened. Until you get to like Dr. Disrespect mode, no one notices that.
Yeah, we're on there. You can hear us.
Yep. Kind of good, baby.
Actually, we should be able to know in the future because, it does the subtitles, and there were no subtitles when I was talking.
Oh, yeah. Didn't even think to look at that. Well, really, there's supposed to be a bar right here that tells you, hey, you suck.
I've got to reshare this whole thing, just so you know.
Oh, yeah. But, guys, it's okay. It's going to be a good podcast. We're not getting down about it. That just means that first take wasn't perfect enough.
What? No, it just means it wasn't meant to be the universe, God, the energy, life force, whatever you want to call it.
Luke Skywalker!
What we were doing.
Yeah. I was always kind of a Darth Vader guy, though, to be honest with you. Screw Luke.
You want to screw
Luke?
I
probably shouldn't have said that out loud because now all the Star Wars dads are going to be freaking hating on me. Because really, I like Luke. I really hate all the new characters. Because that's what old people do. Right? Isn't that the thing right now?
That is the thing.
To hate on the new Star Wars because it's a chick.
Anything new? Yep.
I mean, like people are coming down on the African American dude and the Asian lady, Rose. I forget what his name was. But they were all like, didn't like the whole love connection. Well, I kind of was digging it. Like, kind of gave me some tear eye,
Some tear eye.
Some tear eye.
Got a little bit of tear eye.
No tear eye there. By the way, we're going to be Alert Gaming's wanting us to sponsor them. And Rowdy's wife's got a little t-shirt bid she's doing. They want us to sponsor that. So, a little money coming in for the podcast to put towards advertising.
Nice.
And buying Ryan a freaking gaming PC.
Nice.
Like, I'm almost like more leaning that way. Buy Ryan a gaming PC so we can move on. I even looked up a video yesterday of cheap gaming PCs, right? And it's a guy doing a YouTube video, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to find me a good gaming PC. We'll get Ryan hooked up. And then I look at the price. I look it up after he gives details on it. $1,200. I'm like, that's not cheap. That is not cheap. I don't know what these people think cheap is.
How old was that video? Because actually, most of the PC components are less expensive right now.
It was a 2019, I think.
Yeah, a lot of the used. Remember how I was telling you when I was on Facebook not too long ago, and I said, man, these gaming PCs are up right now. Like, they're just super high. And you were telling me, yeah, graphics cards were up and all that. Remember?
Yeah.
Well, now they're not.
Well, I know they just came out with a new chipset of some stuff too. I think that drives the price down. Like when
I think they're just down from this COVID stuff. There's different stuff going on with the market.
Weird. All right, you boys ready for round 2 here?
Yeah, I think I'm shared out everywhere I usually share. I might have forgot one.
Okay. You can still share while we're going into it.
Of course.
Duh.
Of course I can.
All right, guys, we're going to get going here. And by get going, I mean we're getting going.
You got to share it on Discord, Biddy.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
What, do you need me to hold your hand or what?
How'd the stream go, guys? It didn't, because we apparently didn't have what we needed. But now we do, so it's okay. Oh, excuse me. That's so rude. That's so rude. All right.
Like, did you forget we were live? Like, what just happened?
No, I didn't. It just wasn't official yet. Okay, there. It's shared up for you. All right. Let's get it done, peeps. Here we go. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Click Gaming. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Click Gaming. Man, crumbling tonight. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Click Gaming, a freelance esports tournament company based out of Oklahoma. If you're located in the U.S. and need esports services, this is the ultimate gaming company for you. Contact Johnny Weaver at icychiller@att.net. That's Icy Chiller, ICYCHILLER. I hate you, Ryan. Tonight on the Delirious Dads Gaming Podcast.
I think we should pay people for being kind.
We talk about gaming sales for the win, and we talk about some next gen.
I've done some research, and I think I found the newest, most awesomest MMO of all time.
And now, the Delirious Dads Gaming Podcast.
That's right, guys. It's another episode of the Delirious Dads Gaming Podcast, episode 75. I'm Clinton Stanley, and I'm here with
Ryan Matoy. If you knew me from the wrestling days, that's what they used to announce over the intercom, because the X doesn't look like an X, it looks like a Y.
Oh, okay. That explains some things.
Wow.
And we're also here with our 80s fan.
The Huntsman 93.
Oh, I see what you did there. You took out the year. You took out the month and the day.
Yes. And I
Replaced it
put the year in. But I'm also known as Huntsman 420, okay? Because that's my birthday, guys. No, I don't blaze it. All right? I don't.
All right. Did you ever
I
blaze
don't let
it?
anybody know that I blaze it.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't agree with that part. Oh, man. Ryan has never blazed it. He only eats a lot.
No, I don't
So
believe that. He's from California. He's had to blaze it.
He's always got some kind of munchies.
I've never toked a toke, but I do have the munchies pretty much 24/7.
Okay. That's funny. Well,
I've
Hunter,
never smoked the wild woodweed or ate the devil's lettuce. It just never happened.
the devil's lettuce. I don't think I've heard it called that.
Really?
My dad has called it that.
common.
The devil's lettuce. That's funny. That's some spicy lettuce, you know? No? Nobody?
No.
Okay,
You are
that's
definitely a white man from
That's
suburbia.
okay. Well, I try my best. I feel like I'm a more sophisticated Michael Scott.
Wow.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Just a little bit more.
Yeah, just a tiny bit. But yeah, tonight we got a lot going on, and by a lot I mean gaming news, and we're bringing you a new MMO that's in development. So a lot of ideas being brought to the table. Ryan and Hunter are gonna give us a little sneak peek into Xbox's big gaming event that they had, game reveal event that they had this morning. But we're not covering the entire thing because guess what? We were all working whenever it went, so we didn't get to watch it, and we don't want to give you a bad product here. So,
Right.
Well, and we usually do our recording on Wednesday night, which would have been before the actual event. So we did not include the event in our recording or in our plans to be recording about, if that makes sense. And but then we had to switch things because yesterday was my anniversary, and obviously you can't do things that aren't wife inclusive on anniversary days. Big 14 years this
Wow.
youngster's been married.
Congratulations, Tiffany.
Thank you
yeah.
for making it.
Yeah,
I
Tiffany.
like that.
Tiffany is like the toughest person in the world. Like you see these gaming heroes. Tiffany is better than that. She's better than the God of War. Dude, what's his
Wow.
name? Ethos.
Oh my God. Kratos.
Kratos.
Get out
There you
of
go. Kratos. Every time I hear Kratos, I think of cheese. Like it's a type of cheese, right?
Kratos.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I get it.
It's kind of
It's kind of
weird.
got that Famunda vibe to it.
You keep
Mhm.
talking about him like that, and he's just going to appear from behind your little curtain there.
Mhm. Just
Hey.
his room shakes.
Yeah, just have some wrath on you, bro.
Yeah.
The good thing though is he usually snaps heads off pretty quickly, and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. So it'd be a quick death. It'd be painful.
He's not
but very
he doesn't
fast.
believe in the slow and steady most of
Right.
the time. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. He's not taking out one testicle and then another. That kind of thing.
Wow.
Did we go
He
there?
might. He might for you.
Yeah. Well,
How's that?
that's Ethos that's known for that. That's why you get them mixed up, probably.
Okay. Yeah.
Ethos.
Well, you know what's not
I'm so
Ethos?
upset with you
You know
guys.
you know what's not Ethos, Hunter? The gaming news. Do you guys got it? You gonna bring it or what?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
got this?
I've got some
supposed to
good
do news tonight.
I've got some good gaming news. I'm only bringing one thing off the plate or platter. That was a mix. I was going to say platter and then plate came out. I said plate. But I'm bringing one thing off of there from the Xbox to tonight just because it's a game that caught my interest and oh well.
Yeah, go for it. I'm excited. All right, let's hit it, boys.
And now, the Delirious Dads Gaming Podcast.
Leaks for Geeks. Tonight's my off night. I hit the wrong intro, but you're good to go, boys.
It was kind of long. I was like, whoa.
Man, you guys couldn't see Hunter in the beginning of that little break, but he was doing this dance. And for some reason, what came into my head was when Ben Stiller was the fat guy off of Dodgeball, I think it was, or something like that. And he was doing My Milkshake Brings All the Boys to the Yard. Remember that? That's what came into my head. I was watching him dance silently, and I heard that in my head, and I don't know why. But I figured I would definitely let you guys know what was going on. I don't even know what intro you just played. If you played like some epic MMOs on its way intro, or if you played like a news intro.
The intro just had music, and it was like, "This is Clinton's podcast."
I clicked the actual gaming intro to the podcast again, so it was like a repeat of what we heard earlier.
But which one was it supposed to be?
It was supposed to be the gaming news.
Weeks,
okay,
But I was over here I was just over here whatever.
You guys that aren't listening live, you heard the right one, and you're like, "What are they talking about?" It sounded good to me. That's how things go.
Yeah.
Anyways, hey, I'm going to go first. I'm just going to jump in there. And,
go for it.
You know what I mean?
Fine. I just didn't want to go first either.
Yeah, I wasn't even going to ask because just in case you wanted to, I didn't want, you know what I mean? So
I'd hate going first.
Yeah. I'm going to say, actually, I'm going to rotate. I'm going to do two, and then I'm going to do my last one. That's what I'm going to do. Okay? It's going to be my way.
You're saying you're going to do two, and then let me do one, and then you're going to do your last one?
Well, you can finish or do however many you want, and then I'll jump in and do the last one when you're ready.
Okay.
All right, that's the delivery path of tonight. Okay, first one I've got here is the one from the Xbox reveal, and at least I don't believe this is an exclusive from everything I've seen. It's not an exclusive for Xbox, but they did choose the Xbox reveal day to release their trailer and use that hype to help get their name out there. This is made from Bloober Team, which is I've never even heard of Bloober Team. Have either of you?
No.
Okay. Clint?
Sounds like a type of whale.
Clint, you go ahead and pull up a video for this. I should have told you that earlier, but I didn't. This is going to be called The Medium, which is a horror game that's coming out by Bloober Team. Ooh. And you can guess by the name, The Medium, that she's a channeler or something of some sort, right? That's what mediums do. They talk to the other side. They're in between. They're medium between one side and the other. And that's actually what this preview is specifically about, which is a very, very good-looking preview. You'll see when it comes up. Clint, let me know when you – oh, no, I've got it. I forget I'll see it. But the graphics look great on this game, and this preview specifically kind of goes into a duality of the two worlds. She has the power to control two different basically places, right? So she can actually activate what she's seeing, if that makes sense. Okay. And she can actually turn them both on, from what I understand, at the same time and kind of link them together, or at least that's the way the preview looks. It's not super clear, but that's the way it looks. So she can connect with the spirit world, and she can connect with the real world. Of course.
I'm working on getting that up for you, by the way.
Yeah, you're good.
More technical issues.
The game itself says, they decided to showcase it today. It's a third-person game. And so it's kind of set up like over the shoulder, of course, but it's got that older Resident Evil feel. The graphics are dark and very realistic. It's definitely got that Resident Evil kind of graphics to it. But it's clearly, it's not about zombies. It's much more horror. So it's I don't know, maybe down the lines of Silent Hill. Doesn't look so creaturey, but a little bit. You don't get a ton of what you're going to get scared by. You get really the concept of the game in this preview. It's giving the idea that the attention and everything that's important in this game is in the details, if that makes sense. There's a lot of things that seem one way that aren't necessarily true. So she's gaining info about these spirits that she tried to stop listening to, and now she's giving in. And she's gaining info on what it seems like happened from what she sees in the real world and the real world evidence, and then what she sees in the spiritual realm. And it's almost like certain things have been hidden between the two realms. The two realms tell two different stories, and she's trying to decipher what actually happened.
And the name of that was what again?
The Medium.
The Medium.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty simple name.
Yep.
Nothing too hard about that.
Yep. Other than you couldn't remember it.
Yeah.
No. I was trying to make sure I typed in the right thing.
I got you.
But I see what you're doing with that.
Yeah. Hunter's over there laughing. This
I didn't
game,
forget it. I just needed to know.
Yeah,
I was typing in the right thing,
right?
Because I forgot it, but I didn't forget it.
It said that the central theme on the game, with what they quoted, if you want to know kind of how they described it, they said the central theme on this game is going to focus on perspective and perception, which makes sense with the way the preview looked and the kind of breakdown that I just gave you guys. You do see some scenes here in the preview that are kind of dark, where you see maybe one spirit that looks kind of horror movie creepy for a second. You see some like skin that's all stitched together, like some Silence of the Lambs stuff, and she's cutting it open. So it's, I don't know, it's kind of, it leaves you wondering a lot about what's going on. And one of the bigger things that I like, which we'll probably see on more and more games now, is just better looking games, even for games you don't really know who they are. Like, people may say, Ryan, you should know who the Bloober team is. I don't. I've never heard of them, guys. I'm sorry. Right. I wonder what other games they made. That's not in the article either. Usually they
All I
say
can think about when you say that is blubber.
Blubber, yeah. It's BLOOBER, so I'm pretty sure it's definitely Bloober. On the article here, they said the most improbably named horror game developer. So
it looks very Silent Hill-ish.
Yeah.
Even the way the character walks.
Yeah, it does. That's why I kind of lean towards that. In the horror side, it's a little more like Silent Hill, but in the I don't know, the graphics to me just look a little bit more realistic.
Oh yeah,
than Silent Hill does. So they look a little more Resident Evil vibe to me on the graphics themselves. But yeah, the game has a Silent Hill vibe to it for sure. Even when you'll see here in the preview in a second, you guys who are listening don't get to see it. I know you guys can look it up, but when she's cutting into that skin and stuff, and even the ghost that pops up, it's kind of got the vibe a little bit. Now, Clint did not bring up the new preview for the game, I don't think. He pulled up the old one, even though I said make sure you pull up the new one. It's okay. I forgive him. The new preview for the game is what shows this duality that we're talking about, but you are getting a great look at the graphics and stuff here.
So you think it's actually split screened like that, or it's just showing you your ability to walk in both? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's part of me thinks it's showing it, but she said right in the beginning, it said not only do I have the ability to, or maybe this is the right preview. I'm not sure. I'm not seeing my whole screen, so.
I was pretty sure it was.
I think it is. I think you're right.
Wow, so I basically got, my cojones busted for nothing?
Maybe. It looks different than what I just saw, so.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Okay, so maybe it kind of looks like you can extend which screen you want to play.
Yeah, because this is a different preview for sure than the one I was watching, but it's showing the same thing. And basically, it's because what she said is not only can I see one world or see the other, I can link them. That's how the preview that I watched started with.
Okay.
So that's why I think you actually can do that. She can go all one or she can go the other, but when things are happening in the middle of the game, like there's one scene where she gets thrown back and she's against this wall on the ground of this room, and you see stuff going on within the spiritual world, but you also need the clue that's behind her on the wall in the regular world. And so I don't know how long she's in that room or if it's just for that thing that's happening, and you need to see both. I think they're making this like you're going to have to use this, and you maybe even have to go to areas again and play through it, seeing both sides. You get what I'm saying? That's kind of how I think it's going to be set up. It's a very interesting concept. How it'll play out, I mean, I'm guessing obviously you're just controlling one character. They're just going to move and do different things in the different world, right?
I feel like this is going to be a fun one if we could play through together on Parsec.
Yeah, looks really interesting.
This would be a fun one to do.
Yeah, I had never even heard of this one before now. So, and I like horror games. I'm into them. So to come across something that looks pretty well produced. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The graphics and all that look really good on it. The concept is good, and so good little surprise in my opinion.
Okay, very cool.
Wow.
Yeah, looks
Really
really
good.
really
Like a
legit.
good horror game.
We'll see though. Sometimes these games, it didn't look like they didn't fill it with a bunch of preview. That was mainly gameplay. So I really do think the game's going to look good like that.
Yeah.
So we'll just see how the gameplay actually plays out. If it's enjoyable, or if it's too much story, or if it's a good mix. The next story here I've got is, we've been talking about, what's it called? We've been talking about this, everybody getting in trouble because they're manipulating women or children, or I don't know, maybe it's vice versa. I don't know if there's any women out there that have been using their lead power to manipulate younger guys within the gaming community, gaming creation studios, even teams, right? We're talking about like, esports teams and stuff like that. But we just saw it all over the place. A couple of big stories came out, some people on Twitch, things like that. And then it just blew up. And in a way, it was kind of like the Me Too movement again, but for the gaming community, right? I would say that's kind of what happened there. Anyways, Ubisoft was not unscathed during all this that has happened, and they've responded with a couple different things. The Ubisoft CEO, he said, each time we have been made aware of misconduct, we made tough decisions. We made tough decisions, and we made sure that those decisions had a clear and positive impact. He said, it has now become clear that some individuals betrayed the trust I put in them. I have never compromised on my core values and ethics, and I never will. What he did basically to help prove this and set probably a new standard. I would say this is going to be something you see that trickles out. I don't think this is a one company thing. I think other companies are going to see this and expect it, if that makes sense. And what he did is he set in a bonus program, just like you have bonus programs. If you've never been in a company that is in production, not just producing a game, or it doesn't matter, but if you're in a production company, or even like like my company, we're an install type company, you get rewarded for your pace, right, and productivity, and you get bonuses for that. And if you're a team lead, then you get a bonus if your team does good. That's pretty standard for most production type companies. He has now implemented a new bonus program for his leads that's based specifically on building a positive and inclusive environment. They'll get peer reviews, and based on how his team feels about not how productive they are, or how good just at leading he is, but how he treats them and how they feel welcome and accepted, and not it's not just pertaining to sexual things. So it's specifically to do people
morale and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. Do people feel shut down? Do people feel like they don't have an opportunity to speak or to be used as much as possible, or so it's going to really pertain to a whole other side of their leadership, and based on that, they're going to get bonuses, which I think that's a great idea. I think in a way, companies, if you're a good boss, you do. I'm tooting my own horn, but if I have a crew leader or somebody who's working, that's always been one of the things I'm going to look at is the crew happy? Do they like working with him? Or do they, when I give them an opportunity of, hey, do you want to work with this guy today instead of that guy? And does everybody act like, oh, yeah, I'll go with him? That's not a good thing. And so I pay that. I take that in consideration with whatever their rate of pay is. So instead of just like giving them a bonus for people being happy, that's included if whether I'm going to raise their pay or not. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I do think that should be looked at, because if people are happy, they are going to be more productive. Not only that, I want people to continue to stay with my company. I don't want them to go to another company. I want them to enjoy working for me. And you can be the best boss in the world. When you're a small company, you're the guy who's directing everything. And so if people aren't happy, it's your fault. You suck, right? You're a jerk. You're stressing out too much, whatever. I've been there. I've done that. I've had people not like working with me because I'm not appreciating them or whatever. It's happened.
Yeah.
But that has helped me recognize how I want my company to be and make adjustments in myself. But as you grow and you start to have all kinds of people that you never even get to put your finger on because you're just a CEO, you're just running it from the top. You have to make sure your leads are doing that. It's the same thing. Just because you're not there and you don't get to see it, those people, your employees, need to be taken care of. They need to be happy. They need to enjoy working for you, not just because you give them a check. That's not everything. I'm telling you, I'm one of those guys. I'll leave. If I'm making $18 an hour with you, I'll definitely go make 16 over at the company where I like working. For sure. No problem. No doubt about it. Yeah. And obviously a lot of these guys are making a lot more than that, but not everybody's in the gaming community. So I'm just talking in general, I think that should be a standard across the board.
I agree. I think what goes a long way for me in any workplace is investment. What are you investing into somebody? And as a chef, there's a lot of especially in some restaurants, there's a ceiling you hit as a chef. It's like you are raised to the top, but then that's all you can go. Like that's all you can go. And I'm not like talking down on any of my bosses, but there was just places that I've worked where it's just like, you're here to do a job. That's it, and those places, they're good for a paycheck, like you said, to bring home, but it's not a place where you want to stay for 15, 20 years and grow. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so that's
I've heard it. I've heard it in the workforce, and I've heard it as a pastor. You don't want to be friends with them. You're their pastor. You don't want to be friends with them. You're their boss. Wrong on both sides. What the freak are you talking about?
Right.
How are these people going to trust me? How are they going to be able to open up to me? And how are we going to grow together and influence each other's lives and be involved in each other's lives if they don't know who I am, if we're not friends?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you need their respect, not their friendship. Screw that. I don't believe in that at all. You're going to get real respect when they trust you and when they're your friend.
Right.
And if they can't, as a boss or a minister, or say you're a motivational, like a workout guy or whatever it is, right? They're not going to listen to you the same capacity. Okay. You're not going to you're going to have a little less control. If all you're looking for is control, you can get control by just being that dick, right? Just being that guy who's just, it's just business. But that's not what I want in life. I don't want that kind of relationship with anybody. No matter what it is I'm doing. So no. Yeah.
And I think that old saying probably comes from, the don't be their friend, be their boss kind of thing. I think it comes from people having a hard time correcting friends, right? So like friendship, you think, well, I'm not supposed to say this or that to my friends. I feel like with both of you guys, as our friendship has grown, we get better at being more truthful. Well, I should roll that back. Ryan's always pretty straightforward and truthful. But me, I'll kind of hang on to feelings more and try not to rock the boat as much. Right. Whereas I've learned with Ryan, it's better that he'd rather me be kind of a dick sometimes. Yeah. And at least he knows where I'm coming from and not, he's being fake kind of thing.
Well, a lot of times growth comes through that. I mean, growth comes through uncomfortability sometimes, and you have to tell somebody when they're wrong.
Yeah.
And it's some of the top 3 chefs that I would go back to work for today are ones that I've built relationships with.
Yeah.
So, and they invested me, and they invested me outside of work, and, hey, what's up, man? Hey, look at this. This is a cool dish. Right. Like, that kind of stuff. That's investment. And even my job now and my boss now, I'm not cooking anymore, but always trying to grow me more and more. Hey, let's get into this leadership book. Let's grow your self-discipline. Like, and it's uncomfortable. Sometimes I'm just like, dude, I don't want to. Like, I just want to be lazy. But it shows that my boss cares for me. Right. And he continues to push me to be a better person. And that's investment. And I would work for this guy for 10 years.
Yeah.
Well, Clint's 100% right. If you get close to him, it is harder. When I'm close to these people and I'm friends with them, and I care about the fact that they have kids or they have a family or they whatever they're doing, I don't want them to not get paid. I don't want to fire them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or I could understand that as a boss,
but at the same time, you still have to. And when I do, I can tell you for sure, when I do, they hear it more. It's harder for me to do. It hurts a little more, but I guarantee those chefs that you're talking about that you had a respect for because you had camaraderie, when they say, "Hey, what you've been doing, you've been making this salmon the last week, you've been half A in it." You know what I mean? You've been just skipping, cutting corners. You're like, "Oh crap." You know what I mean? Like that freaking hurts. But it's not just like if it's some guy who's just your boss, you're like, "Screw you." That's kind of your first your first reaction instead. And
what a jerk. Yeah.
Exactly. Anyway, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole too far. We probably already did, guys. But it's an important subject.
I think that's good though, because I think you see that with gaming companies that are small that become big, right? When they were small, they made these amazing games with creative passion, right?
With teams that felt like family.
Yeah, and as they get bigger, all of a sudden it's a machine, right? All of a sudden loses some of that soul, and that's probably because they've lost some of that ownership. Those passionate people have either left or So I think you're 100% right, and good for Ubisoft doing the right thing.
Yeah, I think it's great. I know there'll be people out there that say, "Oh, he's doing that because they got accused of some things." Well, I mean, it could be true, but it's implemented either way, so it's going to encourage that action either way. So it's still good.
Yeah.
That's my last story for now.
Okay. I'll hit on a couple things, and you can have your finale.
Ooh, I'm getting excited for Hunter's stuff here. What you got for us, Hunter?
Well, I want to start out with Halo Infinite.
Ooh, the big Halo Infinite, eh? Did they announce that today?
I think they did, yes. And I'm just going to touch on a little bit of it, but like we said, we're going to really dive into Xbox, coming up. But I just wanted. We've already talked about this. I talked about this a couple weeks ago in the teaser trailer. About Halo Infinite, and I just saw this article and I thought I'd share it. So Halo Infinite, and this is about their multiplayer too. So Halo Infinite's multiplayer is going to make a grappling hook as a pickup. Plus, there's a 4-player split screen that's been confirmed.
Couch co-op 4-player. Nobody's doing that anymore.
Dude, but do you remember, and I don't know about you old folks over there, but church lock-ins, where they would have the Halo tournament, like the Halo games, and the 4-player split screen.
I was youth pastor for 5 years. We did them all the time.
We went to the live church where they had the big projector where the wall was the projector almost in the kids' church, like it was that big. And people were playing Halo on a split screen 4-player.
Yeah.
Come on, man, it's awesome. So,
hey, we just talked about that specific thing in I think the last podcast. We were talking about how we may see an increase of couch co-op because of the increase in the capability, and we saw a decrease because the graphics got pushed so hard in the Xbox One that couch co-op got harder to do for the One and the PS4. So that's cool to see it already happening.
That is cool.
So Halo Infinite's gameplay debut at the Xbox event was focused exclusively on showcasing the campaign, which features open world elements and some new tools for Master Chief to play with. Among them is a grappling hook known as the grapple shot, which stands to have a major impact on gameplay. However, while it is included in Infinite's multiplayer, it will not be something you have access to at all times. The briefest of insight into Infinite's multiplayer component was shared as part of a 343 Industries blog post. It confirms that new weapons and equipment, including both the grapple shot and drop wall, that the deployable energy shield seen in the gameplay demo, will be available in multiplayer. But in order to use them, you will need to first pick them up on the map. It's unclear if they have a limited number of uses once you do so. The grapple shot operates on a cooldown timer in the campaign, and it seems that we'll need to wait for the information on the shield, right?
Okay.
So it says details coming soon. Okay. Also confirmed is a 4-player split screen co-op support for Halo Infinite. This is a feature first announced back in 2018. But given how things can change, there was perhaps some question of whether it would indeed make the final cut. Luckily, 343 told GameSpot that it will be included in Halo Infinite.
Yeah, that's what used to make Halo. Like we got into Halo 3. That's when I really got into Halo at all. Was Halo 3 during high school, and we used to do Halo parties, and that's what made it good. Is you could hook up, bring 3 Xboxes, and that's 16 guys in the game room loaded up playing. You know what I mean? Freaking blast.
Right.
And we do system link cables and play against each other.
Right.
Super fun.
So
fun.
in esports, and we got some of our esports friends in the chat. We have Brent Daniels and Evan Lockhart in the channel. And maybe you guys have an opinion on this with split screen being offered, right? Is that going to be a thing in esports? Could you technically bring a friend who, if you're doing, now this would obviously not be as big of an esports tournament, but like a local esports thing, right? You could,
say you're doing one of these online ones that we're talking about all the time.
Right. Right. Yeah. How would that work? Could you bring in, like, say I get an Xbox Series X, Ryan doesn't have it yet, Hunter's got it, and we want to enter a tournament with you guys. Could we essentially bring Ryan on as a guest and him still be on our team and compete?
Right. It's just what's
they didn't name me for any real reason other than I'm poorer than the two of them. So it's all good.
Well, we're still trying to get you a gaming PC, bro.
Well,
hey, I will have a gaming PC.
Though, at competitions, are the consoles not provided?
Yeah, well, he's talking about how they're doing them online right now.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, if we were just getting online as a team to play and that nothing was provided.
Yeah. I don't know about that. They'll probably answer you. But for Ryan's question, he was kind of talking about graphics earlier. It says it's unclear how split screen will impact the resolution or frame rate. 343 promises near instant load times, as they say, as well as 4K and 60 FPS support in the campaign on Xbox Series X. But those figures may only be accurate when playing the single person on the system.
So do we know that the campaign's going to have co-op too with the split screen or no?
That's what it seems like. Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Because they're talking. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if it'll be 4-player.
Right.
Okay.
But 343 also says it's designing Halo Infinite to grow and evolve over time, so that we can continue to deliver experiences to our players well beyond the launch. Given the focus right now is on the campaign, this evolution involves the side of the game, which new stories being added over time, but it seems safe to assume Infinite's multiplayer will also expand to new content post-launch.
So this is why I didn't do my last story, because I didn't know if that was going to be wrapped into your story at all. So I held off, because that's the story I pulled up that I thought was interesting about Halo. And so I'm glad you're hitting on that.
Right.
They're kind of touting that, it sounds like, as if it's, like you see for Fortnite and stuff, these kind of games, they're not like, they're not trying to make Fortnite 2. You get what I'm saying? It's a continuation game, like, World of Warcraft is kind of one of the early guys to ever do that. And we're seeing that that's becoming more popular. We're seeing that that's the direction Call of Duty, I think, is going to go right now, right? And he said right here, there's not going to be a Halo Infinite 2 or a Halo 7. He said, or whatever you want to call it. He said in the years after this release in late 2020. So he's basically coming out to say, basically, we're going to grow this. I guess you could call it a universe. You know what I mean? He's saying that the Halo Infinite, he gave a specific quote for kind of how he wants it to be looked at. You see it in your article? He said, let me see here. Dang.
So it's kind of taking on more kind of like GTA Online, kind of?
Right.
Well,
and it also says, like, it seems like to me that they're also planning, because their focus, they said their focus is so much on campaign right now, that they're actually going to, be it's uploading, I guess, or you can install added content onto your campaign. So,
okay. Cool. And I'm looking at that grappling. I'm looking at the grappling hook too. It makes so much sense. It's kind of like, why did we never have this? In the universe
it's gonna be integrated perfectly for the way the gameplay is, for sure. He said that's what he said. He said he called Infinite a platform for the future. It's not just a new game. That's what he called it, a platform for the future, which it just very much seems like he's saying this is going to be something that is going to be now, and we're going to adjust it and grow it and build it. But we're going to have a community around Halo Infinite. It's the new setup, instead of sequels. Because in the past, we always had sequels, but we used to always have games every a year or two max for sequels. Now, Halo Infinite, it's been over 5 years. So everybody's been saying they better be freaking cooking up something big. Right. And, I think he's just basically saying we've switched the way we're going to do things. I don't know how this game is set up different enough to work that way. There's no real, clear evidence on why this game is better for that than the others have been. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's definitely their plan.
Yeah, the game looks great.
I was just about to say they did really good on the graphics.
Just like, there's such a nostalgia to it. Like, this was a game that me and my cousin played, after school all the time.
If you remember when it first came out, too, I mean, the graphics that was one of the big things of it. It was that next-gen graphic that really pushed the envelope for
I remember as a kid, my cousin always trying to explain to me that, like, in Halo, you're on that ring. And I was like, wait, what? You're on the ring? That doesn't make sense. This is a world. It was so hard for me to wrap my head around that.
Yeah. Yeah, it took me a while in the gameplay, too, to realize that, like, midway.
There's some speculation here from looks like maybe a little bit of leaks and people kind of thinking that this actually will be a little bit more like WoW, not in an MMO style, but it's speculated that it's not going to be a continued updates to the same campaign, but that instead new stories will arise that'll be wholly separate campaigns to be played out within the Halo Infinite universe, if that makes sense.
So like the multiplayer or the single player, I guess.
On the campaign, so co-op and single player campaign. Okay. So of course they'll add stuff in the multiplayer too, new maps and things like that, I'm sure. But what I mean is it sounds more like the way World of Warcraft says, hey, here's this new storyline. They don't just add a new quest. You get what I'm saying? They're saying there's this new thing that's going on, and there's going to be a new person to conquer at the end. That's how they think this is going to go with Halo Infinite, which is pretty cool. I like it.
I think that is the way to go, especially if you're going to call your game Infinite. Like that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Next on the list, I'm just going to touch on this for a second. It's not huge news, but apparently Fortnite already has had vehicles in their game, right? There's helicopters, there's different buggies and stuff. Well, apparently Fortnite was going to add cars, just regular old cars that you can drive around in, but it's been a little bit delayed. So it says Fortnite won't get cars for a few more weeks. The popular Battle Royale game is expected to get drivable cars, but they won't be added for a few weeks. Don't expect cars to be added to Fortnite Battle Royale just yet. On Twitter, Fortnite announced that they're taking some time to get these added in. It's a cool little tweet here. It says, Fender Bender, no sweat, ran out of gas. That's not covered. Our lawyers are currently sweating the policy details and fixing typos like otter coverage instead of auto coverage. Due to this, many vehicles got taken in for inspection. Expect a few weeks until we're road ready. So, are adding cars to Fortnite, but they're not here yet. So, apparently there's going to be around 4 types of cars that you can drive. Small cars, medium cars, and large cars, like trucks, obviously. And so, yeah, that's what we're waiting for in Fortnite.
Okay. I guess I never realized they had taken some of that stuff out, because I know beforehand they had all that.
Brent said in the live chat, he said that he had played his first time that way with the Halo party, but then Evan decided to rip me a new one, or I don't know, maybe both of us, Hunter, I don't know. I think I said 343. He said it's 343. Sorry if I said that.
Yeah, you know us, guys. Hey, if you've watched this podcast for any amount of time, you realize we say stuff like Ubisoft and Stadia.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, hey, Ubisoft was like a big revelation for me, right?
Any Asian name or Oriental name, if you're Clint, is completely, we add syllables. We're nowhere near anything that we're supposed to be. But it's also a Delirious Dad's Gaming, not epic,
Yeah.
super epic gamer dads gaming.
Super
It's,
correct all the time, 100% epic dads.
Hey Ryan, you're
But I love
not on the
Delirious.
video, by the way.
Oh, okay, sweet. But I do
For
love the
Delirious.
roast.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the
Oh,
roast.
yeah, I think he said in theory, yes, we could play a split screen. And then what else did they say? He said multiple campaigns remind him of StarCraft 1 and 2. Almost said 1.8.2.
StarCraft, I got it. All right. Well, my last little bit here before Ryan drops the bomb.
No, that
us.
was my bomb. That was it. That's what I was saying. I saved it specifically because I thought you might get into it and we'd just talk about it together.
Oh, the Halo thing was?
Yeah.
So I stole your bomb. I'm sorry, bro. I didn't know that.
It was. You're the only one that made it a bomb. I figured it was going to be more like a plug, and it was. So
Okay.
Gotcha.
Good deal. So last on here then, and we'll finish it off with this, is a big summer sale that just went live on Epic Games Store. We were just talking before we got on here. We kind of liking what Epic Games is doing. You know, Epic Games has some great sales. They have great free games. I mean, my library on Epic Games, right? I probably have a third of the games downloaded actually that I have in my library on Epic because there's so many good free games that come out that I just grab. I have only paid for 1 or 2 games on here and listen to the games I have on my Epic store here. I got Steep. I've got I paid for Far Cry. I paid for World War Z. I got Batman, the trilogy. So I got all 3 Batman games. Let's see, For Honor, Limbo, Overcooked, Just Cause 4, the trio of Batman Legos.
I must have missed the Batman. I didn't know that. I didn't get that for free.
Yeah. Civilization.
You're missing out on it all, man.
Gone Home, Inner Space, Soma, Stranger Things 3, The Stanley Parable. I mean, those are all good. I mean, they're not just, you know, like some of these games you see on other platforms that are free are kind of like your, it's like a ransom. Yeah, like a,
yeah.
It's like, this is what we got. Nobody's buying it, so you guys can have it for free.
Right.
Exactly.
You know?
Right.
But anyways, all that to say is I'm proud of what Epic's been doing, and they don't seem very, you know, they're not greedy. I feel like they're letting their players play the things that they want to play. And so there was a sale that I just got some good games on there, and now they're kicking off another sale. And so this sale includes some hot titles like Assassin's Creed Origins for $12, right? Marked down from $60, guys. Okay. Assassin's Creed Odyssey for $19.79, also marked down from $60. Before We Leave for $15. Borderlands 3 for $30, marked down from $60. Civilization 5 for, what's VI in Roman numerals? I'm an idiot.
7.
7.
Oh, VI. I thought you said 2 eyes.
6.
VI 6. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice
so
recovery.
Civilization 6 Platinum Edition upgrade is 40 instead of 80. Control, which looks like a super cool game. I've seen a lot about that lately. $30, marked down from 60. Disco Elysium, have no idea what game that is 30 instead of 40. Far Cry 3 is $3. I know it's a little older, but hey, $3, marked down from 20.
That was a good game.
Far Cry Primal, $6, marked down from 30. Hades Early Access, which is kind of like a top-down dungeon game, is $20. And Into the Breach, $7, marked down from 15. The Jackbox Party Pack 3, $16, down from 25. John Wick Hex, which I think is a turn-based John Wick game, $16. Journey to the Savage Planet, very cool game. I've seen gameplay on this. Very bright, vibrant colors, $18, marked down from 30. Limbo is $2, guys. That is a classic game. Limbo, I got it for free, like I said, on Epic. Right? You missed out on that. You had to pay $2.
Okay.
Maneater, new shark game out, looks awesome. I've heard a lot of good reviews on that. $30. Metro Exodus, talked about Metro a couple times in our last couple podcasts. 18 down from 40. Outer Wilds, I've seen gameplay on this. Very cool sandbox explorer space game, guys. I mean, it is awesome. Very cool game. 16.24, marked down from 25. The Outer Worlds, 30 from 60. We've talked about Outer Worlds on here before. Red Dead Redemption 2, $48, down from 60. Rainbow Six Siege, $8, down from 20. Saints Row the Third Remastered, 30, marked down from 40.
Okay.
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, $30, marked down from $60. That's one I want to check out.
Mm-hmm.
I've played a couple levels on that. It's a beautiful game, and I want to check it out. State of Decay 2, which is a zombie game, Juggernaut Edition, 22, marked down from 30. And then the story-based game is called What Remains of Edith Finch, is $8, marked down from 20. And so that is the list I have here. Those Epic Summer, it's called the Epic Summer Sale 2020, and it runs until August 6th at 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So
nice.
You have a couple of weeks to decide which games you guys want to pick up on there. And so, yeah, like I said, I love what Epic's doing. I love that they have so many good, they don't stray away from the mainstream titles and discount them.
Right.
So.
Very cool. Awesome. Well,
Thank
now
you
we
for
got
that
our
list.
summer
That
deal.
reminds me that I've got to download. If you guys haven't, if you're listening live tonight, you can download for $9. What was it? It's
Far Cry 5.
It's number 6. It's 5. Yeah, there's 6 that they're working on right now.
Newest one.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, so if you're listening live, if you're listening to our podcast, it's too late for you. I'm sorry. If you're listening live, go on the Epic Game Store right now, and you can get the Far Cry 5 for about $9.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
Excellent deal.
That's a great deal.
That's a low price. You guys ever see that Staples commercial?
That's exactly what I just thought.
Really?
And then my mind went from him to, would you look at that? So.
Yeah.
And then my mind just went to head on, apply directly to your forehead. Remember that? The headache medicine that you roll on your forehead?
I do remember that. It's etched in my brain forever.
They will sell anything.
Yeah.
Gotta love the human condition. All right. That was good, Hunter. Ryan, yours was okay.
I love it.
Yep.
Hey, we got to step it down so we can be at your level.
Yeah, well, I figured, don't want to get too far ahead or people just tune out,
Right.
Got to be equal across the board.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I got a little game that I came across, and I want to share it with you guys. And for all our MMO fans out there, especially if you're into the classic fantasy, you're gonna want to stay tuned because I saw this, and let's just say it's the most pumped I've been about any game in probably the last 10 years for myself when it comes to an MMO. So let's go on over and check it out.
In a world of Easter eggs and cheats, it's time for what they don't want you to know.
All right, guys, and it's time. It's time for our tips and tricks segment. I went ahead and included it in this because there's some tips for a game that you haven't even heard of yet, right?
That's what I'm talking about. That's how I like it.
Yeah. It's more of rumors, but I figure we'll throw it in there.
For you MMO aficionados, you probably have heard of it. You should have told us about it. Shame on you.
Aficionados.
Well, hey, I will say this though. I feel like it's got some scope to it, and you'll see why right here. Now, take me a little sippy sip of tea there, and we'll get started. So the game that we're discussing tonight is made by Intrepid Games, and the name of it is Ashes of Creation. This is a MMO, and like we said, it's more geared towards classic MMO, which is something I feel like when I played WoW, it's more fun. Like it's always had kind of a humor to it, or more kind of made fun of itself a little bit. In some aspects. This game seems more very Dungeons and Dragons. Like if you play Dungeons and Dragons back in the day, this kind of has more of that kind of vibe to me. Like everything in the game seems very thought out and very serious. And so I think it's going to be a different experience. So we'll get right into it here real quick, guys. So Ashes of Creation takes place within a medieval fantasy setting, like we said. It blends imagination with cutting-edge graphics. And then they say here that they are putting the word massive back into massively multiplayer with unique and novel mechanics that will bring meaning to player actions. Now, you're probably sitting here thinking, well, it sounds like just another fantasy game, Clint. You probably go out, you quest, you kill some creatures, you know, fetch quests. Go out
Take
and
turns. You do yours, I do mine.
Yeah, come on, bring it back, that kind of stuff. And yes, essentially it is. There is one difference, though, and this is where this game really intrigues me. The system is set up with its own little structure where players control the destiny of the game. And to me, this is kind of an idea that really I don't think I've ever seen, other than like maybe a game like DayZ we've kind of talked about before, where it's got player interaction being the focus. Right. But there's really
there is no actual built-in goal.
Yeah, but within DayZ, it's still player interaction that makes it, right? This game has game mechanics that is going to interact and react to the way that the server is playing, if this makes sense. We'll get into detail right here. This is kind of the nugget. They have this system in the game called nodes, Nodes. Nodes works as a, we'll say like a point of interest within the regions of the game. Now, it doesn't specify every location of the map because this game's still in development. It just recently got out of its Kickstarter phase back in May. So, I mean, they are fairly new, but it's already seems like they're developed and have a plan for this game. So these nodes take place in these regions. So how the game works is you're going to log in, and they're saying that... Time
out.
Yes. Go ahead.
You're going to talk about this epic, massive, that's bringing massive back game. Yeah. You're not going to have some kind of video for our live people to be watching?
I'm getting ready to cue it, but I didn't want to get ahead of myself because it has info for the notes. Okay, yeah. Sure. Yeah, I've got it queued up. I'm ready to go, baby. All right. So, lost my train of thought. So, how it's going to work, from what I understand, you're going to pick your race just like you would in WoW or any other fantasy MMO. So, you can do a dwarf, an elf, a human, that kind of stuff. But you can also choose where you start out at. So, you don't necessarily, if Ryan picks a dwarf, for instance, from what I understand, he doesn't have to start in the dwarf area. Right? He can go and start in an elf starter area or a human starter area. So it's kind of got that element to it. They say that what has happened is your elders once lived here, your relatives, way back in the day, centuries ago, and they were ran out of this land or out of this universe. And so now these portals have come back, and you have come into this world, and it's now completely different from what it was. So there's this ancient mystery to discover. So within this map, you have these nodes, and we'll go ahead and cue the video because I feel like it's safe now to go ahead and start that. So let me transition us over here so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. So the game's going to be set up with this node system. Like we said, it's point of interest. And so as you quest in a zone or an area, you give XP to this node system within the region. From the video, it says that there's 6 levels to this node. And as it levels up, things start happening within that region. So at first, it's going to be kind of dead. Everything's going to be kind of... you're just out questing, you're doing your own thing. And as you level up this node, more quests become available and things within the landscape starts to change. So say you get to level 2, then maybe some tents show up within the area. All of a sudden there's a little bit of a civilization starting to show up. And this is all depending on where the player base is.
Yeah, so it's not just... Hold on. That's not going on just you. That's going on whoever's on that server.
Server population, yes.
So if you don't play for a little while, you may come back and an area that was kind of empty is now populated.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. And so as a server, they're dictating what is going to happen within this game. And as you get to like level 3, for instance, they say that a town will appear. Then you work your way up, and next thing you know, you've got a sprawling city. A metropolis is, I think, the max level, which is level 6 of this big city that shows up. The other caveat to this is as you're going through these levels, things start happening quest-wise. All of a sudden, you may find some dragon eggs at level 3. And then at level 4 or 5, a big, huge dragon shows up, a world boss within the area that starts trying to attack the cities, things like that. All of a sudden, these instances and things start happening because people are playing in that area. And the only way, now you may ask, well, Clint, what about if, people start going and playing in another area? What happens to that region? Well, that's a good question. All of a sudden, resources start allocating to the other place. And this place starts suffering. They start losing
almost
resources
like an economy.
Yes, it does. It has an economy built into it. Now, as a player, you can buy housing. Yes, I said housing for your character. And so what they say is, as you get to the town phase, you can start purchasing houses within the town. And the benefit of this, which I thought was really interesting, really neat strategy, was you get benefits from being the first characters to build this area up. So say me, Ryan, and Hunter start playing in this forest zone, and we buy us a little tent or a little house, right? We're going to get maximum benefits when this place becomes a metropolis. There's certain things that you get that no other player will ever have a chance to.
Helped establish the town. That's how it would be for anybody.
Right.
Or be that rich guy.
Right. Or in any case, other people have to work twice as hard, right, to get it.
Right.
The game's also broken into some different systems. So as you're developing your community, has these, I guess you'd say you pick like a resource for that zone. So it may be a scientific zone, right? Sure. So based on that, you're going to have different things that pop up, so to speak. And so that city will be different and have different abilities compared to other places that you might be. Another example would be militaristic. If you're militaristic,
so it looks like not just questing too. I mean, because I'm watching this video while you're going in the background, and looks like anything that adds XP to you adds XP to your node.
Mm-hmm. If you're in that area, you
could be fishing, you could be doing whatever the freak you want to. Mm-hmm. It's going to add to it. That's interesting.
Yep.
This looks super cool, bro.
Yeah,
it does.
And so they say here too, the developers mentioned that in order to derank a zone, right? For one, he said anything adjacent to it. So I guess if it's connected to the zone, that other zone cannot prosper because this zone is, if that makes sense. So
yeah, they're too close.
You're not going to have two cities just built right up next to each other.
Yeah, just like in real life.
He does mention in the video, which you guys saw, there's a bridge that gets built. He says you have a level 5 city there that everyone's built up. Now the citizens can vote or spend money to build a bridge over to this next zone. So you start having these things pop up, and then what happens is you'd
be expanding the city at that point, right?
Yes. Yep. Okay. Yep, and you expand your influence. So as the cities get bigger, and I know everybody's like, wow, what is he talking about? Because I'm telling you, it's a lot. So we're just kind of talking about it as we go, guys, because it's just so hard to be able to put together just a nice, clean video on a live stream.
I think you're doing a good job. It's making sense.
Thank you. So as we said, you build up a bridge, for instance, to this other place across the river. Well, now you're going to be able to send caravans to this other zone and start giving resources to that zone.
Right. Yeah, almost just like if you live around where we're at locally, you've got Tulsa, and then you've kind of got Broken Arrow and Bixby and these things that are right there. Mm-hmm. But really, they're just an expansion of the greater Tulsa area.
Right.
And so it's saying you can do that, but you're not going to have Tulsa and Oklahoma City on top of each other.
Right.
You're going to have one big conglomerate that's growing. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, and so it really is a server, a community that's deciding what is happening, which is just kind of blows my mind if they can really pull this off. They also go into, like when they're talking about militaristic versus, scientific. There's also a religion one. Like if you do a religion, your influence within that city is based off of your faith or what you've done within that religion, that culture. So that really breaks down into this weird thing of, as you get these cities, then I think it's once a month is what they're saying is someone can be made a leader or a mayor of that city, a player. And then how this works is every month, that person could be taken out of power. And then and
so there must be some responsibility in that mayor's hands.
Yes, so
for the direction of the city, just like real life.
So he really gets in deep with like the housing is where the developer really starts taking off with some of these ideas. He says you buy a house, you live in that city, you are now taxed. That zone taxes your gold or whatever you're making in game.
Oh, really?
And that goes towards the economy of that city.
Yeah, increasing the city, building other resources in the city and streets in the city and the bridge that you're going to vote on later. Yeah.
Yep.
Dang,
so say we buy a house at level 1, or I shouldn't say level 1, level 3. Me and Ryan buy a house. Hunter hasn't came to our zone yet. He's hanging out somewhere. Now we're up to level 5. We've become a metropolis. Well, my house now has upgraded to a mansion because I was an original. I've got all this income from being there before. Now Hunter has to be a little lowly person and live out in the alleys, kind of thing. Now
the real question is, can you evade taxes?
I don't know about all that.
Can we make some money in another region?
Well,
and,
you have to
and store it in a bank somewhere else.
You
know?
That I don't know. But he does say too, like, well, what if the city's all filled up? Well, then at that point, the rich people of the population can buy apartments and put them up for rent for other players, and that will be instanced.
You're gonna have to think, if you want some power and you want some clout, and that city is already developed to the point to where that is probably not going to happen for you. It may be in your best interest with your guild or whoever you're playing with, your kind of group of people, to start influencing growth in another area.
There you go. There you go. Now you're getting it. And that's the direction they're taking. These guilds, these communities are the ones in power. So if we're militaristic, the only way to take down power in that zone is to literally destroy the city. And they're saying that buildings will be destructible. You will attack the cities. Anything on that kind of scale, it's not just going to be like me and Ryan or like me and Ryan and Hunter's Guild are going to go attack the city. It's a server-wide event.
The other city voted on it or something. You know what I mean? Hey, this is what we're doing.
And it's a server-wide event. It's not something small. And I think you can only attack a city like once a month as well. It's going to be, and it's going to send out notifications to all players that this is the date of the war. This is when it's happening. Get ready.
Wow, that'd be cool. That sounds fun. The preview you played didn't really show much gameplay, but I've got one pulled up that's showing some gameplay. I'm impressed with the graphics. I got to tell you.
That's usually your big pet peeve.
Good. Yeah, for these kind of games, that's my issue, is usually the graphics.
Now here's
obviously these graphics aren't, you're not playing Resident Evil 2 on there, the remake. It's an MMO. But
you can't do it with that many people. Yeah.
It definitely looks good compared to the 3-letter game we all know and love.
Right. Now,
wow. You went there.
So
I did.
He did. He went right straight there.
Now,
did I did. I totally got it. Yeah, I got it. I got what you're going.
No, did you get what Hunter did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally did. Totally got it.
He didn't get it, folks.
I did. All right, listen though. There's more to it. So those caravans you're talking about, that's going to have to be items that players, those are events as well that players will have to escort those caravans to the next zones. And you can be attacked by other guilds. There's PvP aspects to that. He also states that as your city gets bigger, creatures in that area will start noticing and will not like that you're taking over their land. And they will come out of mysterious places to attack you. So in theory, a dragon could come attack your city because
it'd be just like any other time. Yeah, medieval time. You got your castle. There's going to be a dragon. You're going to need a knight. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So this game's crazy. There's a lot of reach to it.
But this game's not really medieval. It may sound like it. We're talking about it. It's not. It's like its own universe. Like if you're watching this preview, if you watch the preview that shows the gameplay, this is not just orcs and axes. It's not just WoW recreated. This is more like medium modern mixed with like if I don't know, maybe did society go another direction? You get what I'm saying? Like it's got a different vibe to it. Yes, there's armor and all this kind of stuff, but it doesn't look like it's just completely medieval. It's got like its own universe for sure, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's very exciting. They also talk, like we said, there's politics in this game. So there is going to be, like, if you're a democracy, people within the town will vote who's in power. There will be ways to take guilds out of power. Say our guild doesn't like the way Ryan's leading it. We can find ways to get rid of him, and as a group, make decisions that. Yep. And so it's very much, the way the developer
kind of. If you don't like my guild, make your own. You get a lot of that in MMOs. Screw that.
Oh yeah,
I'll take over this thing.
So it's really cool in that aspect, but the other thing we're talking about creatures, it's going to open up dungeons and raids. So there's specifically going to be things that get unlocked that you may never see because of the server that you play on.
Yep. That's pretty cool.
So everyone's in game will look different depending on where you live. Another thing they said that I thought was really neat, and this is another ambitious thing, the founding fathers of the city based what the architecture will look like. So if we're playing orcs, our town will have a orc aesthetic to it because it was built by orcs. Same thing with dwarves, same thing with elves. So they're putting that spin on it. They've also mentioned a system called Monster Coin, which is going to be a part of your PvP that you can get. You take this coin and literally turn into a monster during a war and can help lay siege onto the city that you're attacking or the caravan that you're attacking. So just a lot of creative just reach to this whole thing, and the fact that it has its own economy to it is really amazing. So
now it says it's democratic, right? I mean, it's a vote.
Well, no, that's if you went the democratic route.
Oh, so that's what I was going to say. Can you go like the dictator route?
Mm-hmm.
Can you go? Oh, I like it.
Yeah. So there's abilities and things that the community will pick, or that you, I guess, enroll in a way, and it affects that community.
Okay.
And so that's why I say there's just a lot of different ways that this game is going to be. Now you may say, well, Clint, I don't like PvP in it. And it sounds like this game is heavily PvP related. They are going to have a system that curses players. So me and Hunter are a little lowbie level 5s, and some douchebag decides to come over and he's level 50, which is the max level in the game, and he decides to attack us. He will become cursed. He will have like a debuff, so to speak, and it will affect his abilities, how strong he is. It will, and it overall affects his gameplay. The more of a douche that you are, the more that you're punished within the game, because it knows, you shouldn't just be going and attacking these guys. So there's going to be consequences to the game that's going to help with toxicity when it comes to PvP. Because not everybody's into the PvP aspect. They just want to go out and quest. So the game itself is going to have that. As far as your trades go, your skills, your crafting, the way that it was kind of explained when I was listening, crafting is going to be different. So in World of Warcraft, if you're a blacksmith, you also usually take a secondary profession like mining. Or if you're an alchemist, you're going to do alchemy, and your secondary skill is going to be herbalism. Well, in this game, you're going to be a gatherer or a crafter, or some type of aspect of this one profession, if that makes sense. So you're not going to, you're going to be a blacksmith. Well, you're not going to be out going and getting the materials.
Yeah, you never would.
Right. So
in real life, you wouldn't.
Right. And so they're going to integrate this system into the game where your character does something for the community. Again, it goes back to community. And they're saying that you're going to make these things, and yes, you can use them for yourself, but it's usually going to be a community effort. So I can't make this.
One of the ways you're going to make money is making it for other people.
Yep.
That's how it's set up. Yeah.
So I'm not going to be able to go and get all the materials for this sword that I want. Now,
but you'll also be vying to be the better blacksmith in a way, right? Like to upgrade your skills and
to make money.
Somebody else makes better stuff. Kind of screwed. You know what I mean? It's real business. Capitalism, baby.
Yep. And so, cool. So as you get this stuff going, for like, I'm trying to think of an example. He says, like, if you're over here mining and you see these little embers, some kind of ember creature or something, right? You're in that node. It knows that you're doing all this mining. All of a sudden, you're starting to level that up, right? Next thing you know, there may be a cave that opens up that you didn't know was there. All of a sudden, the earth is opened up and there's a cave. Now people start going to the cave to check it out. Now there's a dungeon, now you're going into this group event. And then raids are the same way. They said raids are going to work like this. It's pretty simple. When you start a raid, it's going to start out easy, and it's going to get harder and harder the deeper you go into the experience. So it's not going to be like a set
level.
Difficulty. It's gonna increasingly get harder. There are going to be 20-man raids, 40-man raids, and I think there was going to be an 8-man if you had a smaller group. Is what they're talking about. So I mean, it's just this crazy thing of they're blending all these abilities, and guys, I haven't even really scratched the surface of how deep it goes.
I'm reading these comments on YouTube, and they're about what I expected. You've got some comments that are, positive, and some that aren't. One guy, he says here, players hold elections for mayors, and just like that, all the mayor positions are filled with Twitch streamers. That's probably 100% true. You know what I mean? Because they're on there all the time.
True.
And they've got a lot of publicity.
Unless we go to war and kill that town.
Yeah.
I mean,
who's your leader going to be? Another Twitch streamer? Highly likely.
The minority. That's the whole thing, right? If you as a server don't like that Twitch streamer's up there doing his thing,
right?
The big.
I'm not necessarily against it. The Twitch streamer might be great. He might be a great leader.
And I'm not.
Right.
I'm not really. I'm not really against that either. I'm saying I think the idea is that's going to be the balancing act to it all.
Balancing is going to be the thing. This guy here, he says, getting a strong, too good to be true vibe, which is exactly what I'm nervous about as you're reading all this and talking about all this. And
when is it supposed to come out?
We don't know.
We don't know. It's still in development. You can get early access. Give me just a second, and I'll jump in here and see how we can make that happen. Give me just a sec.
He said, getting a strong, too good to be true vibe. And then he said, there's just too many systems, too many variables, too much balancing, and too much of everything. How can we realistically expect all of this to come in a functional state, much less a fun, balanced state? And it is one of those things where, I get that, but in all reality, we always want more in games, right? I mean, there's always something more we want. If you went back 8 years ago, we would have been talking about, why doesn't Call of Duty make a game where we can have 100 different teams, and fight it for each other for the top, like some kind of king of the hill, and everybody battles it out, and you just land on this map and then you converge in this epic battle. Things like that has been said, and you can't get all that out of a game, and now here we are. We have it, right? Not like, I'm not saying Call of Duty did it first or something like that, but what I'm saying is games change, guys. Games come a long ways, and I agree. This is what we were talking about before. I don't think WoW can make those changes without becoming a different game, right? And so it has to be new games that step in, whether it's made by Blizzard or not. But I think to get these kind of things, I think games can. Problem is, in the MMO community, all these guys know this is not the first MMO to promise everything on a plate, and then never even come out, let alone come out and work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so they're nervous about it, and I get that. I got my fingers crossed because it sounds good. It sounds like you might be able to suck me into this MMO.
Yeah.
And I just hope we don't get lost if we get in. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's true. Now, the things that I do like about it, though, it does seem to have these self-balancing. They talked about balance, but it seems like they have systems in place that they're going to stick behind. And I say that by saying this. Blizzard and other games, we've seen it in I saw someone talking about it with Call of Duty, about the FAL. Is it a stronger gun now because of the way they nerfed the other gun? That same kind of deal. This seems like they're really sticking to the guns of, no, this is a hardcore MMO. So it kind of is what you get. Now, I'm sure they'll balance it and tweak it, but it seems like the route they're going is, you guys make it. You make it happen. It is what it is. If you don't like it, that kind of thing.
Right.
And I just threw up some gameplay so you guys can see kind of how the gameplay works. There's just some characters playing around on the screen. Someone's YouTube video. But graphics look really good. It just has a lot of ideas that I think really push into a new direction that we've seen snippets of these ideas, but never on a grand scale.
Right.
And I mean, they're really going for it. Like when I look at this, now as far as gameplay goes, I'm not sure. I've seen some other stuff where the gameplay and stuff look pretty legit. Matter of fact, I could probably skip forward here. Yeah, to some actual gameplay. But it looks pretty solid for something that's just got its Kickstarter going. Now, what happened was the developer, he funded it himself and then did the Kickstarter just to kind of help push it over the edge, to help push to that next level of getting this thing made fairly quick. Now, the gameplay is going to work kind of how you want it to. It's going to have tab target like WoW, so you can do that, or it's going to have the live action reaction, kind of like a Star Wars MMO or some of that stuff, where you're actually aiming and shooting and doing things. It's going to be a combination of both. They've said that when you play, you're going to pick which route you want to lean towards. So 75% of your gameplay will be what your choice is. The other 25% you'll be kind of forced to do.
Oh, okay.
Which I thought was interesting. So if you want to do more kind of like Elder Scrolls style,
right,
you can pick that style, but you'll still have some tab targeting things that you need to do.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just read another comment on here. It's talking about basically real space player housing going to get destroyed. It said you're going to rage quit before the game launches. And they're talking about, coming into the game, you haven't played for a week, your house that you've built up and all this stuff. It's not even like you weren't even there to defend it. It got destroyed by somebody else.
Got pillaged, yeah.
That's
true. That is true. They did say on the player housing as well, if all the houses are taken in the city and you don't want to rent an apartment, you can buy land outside of that city. And so you'll buy these plots, you can put down a blacksmith home where you have a blacksmith thing to work out of.
Now, can that home be wrecked by anybody if they want to? You know what I mean?
I'm not sure.
You wouldn't think so. I know the guard your home all the time. You know what I mean?
I know the buildings and stuff are supposedly going to be destructible. As far as how they go about that, I'm not really 100% sure.
That would suck if that's the case, though. I doubt it, because that would just be too stressful.
Well, they did say there is going to be flagging for PvP, so maybe if you're not flagged, that zone is not able to be, unless you're in the city. I mean, if you're in the city and your city gets taken over, then I would say you're out of luck.
Right.
But, I mean, I think that kind of comes with the consequences of being in the city. But I do like the aspect of there seems to be this feel of you can be a citizen within this world, or you could just be someone that travels and makes money.
Right.
It doesn't sound like you have to become a citizen anywhere.
Right.
There's
it's
just a lot
kind of depending on what you want to do. Yeah, I'm sure there's benefits to being a citizen. There's, for one, the fact that a lot of the people are going to want to use you. You're going to be able to make revenue and turn things into ways of building your wealth, essentially, in the game. It's an economic-based game.
Yeah. The other cool thing is they said that there can only be a maximum of 5 metropolises in the server. So as of now, you can only have 5 maxed out cities within the zones. So that leads me to believe that those cities could wage war on each other, essentially. So it's very kingdom driven, kind of like in the old days. You hear that, one area might be peasant land and all that kind of stuff. But gameplay looks good. Like I said, I'm looking at it. It looks pretty solid. So that's what gives me hope. Like, I'm not watching something that is super glitchy looking. They're not really showing me much gameplay. They're just showing me trailers of people, walking through town. I mean, this is actual gameplay, and I've seen other stuff of the PvP going on. So yeah, keep your eyes out. I'm not saying this will be successful. Obviously, I'm hopeful that it is, because it would be good for everybody. It would definitely be a new taste for the MMO life. But yeah, so that's pretty much all that I've got for you guys. Any final thoughts on your end, Hunter?
No, I'm excited for this. I'm kind of with Ryan. Like, I think that some pluses for me are the graphics, and then also what you're talking about on the battle. of aiming and stuff like that. I enjoy doing the aiming and stuff more than the actual just lock on and letting your character do it. You know what I'm talking about? So I like that they're giving you options like that. And they're talking. All these guys are so skeptical and how frustrating it's going to be, but I think I would give it a try either way, even if it was frustrating.
Oh yeah. I mean, you got to give it a try now. Right now, if you guys want to get in on their beta access, it's a little pricey. I don't know that this may. I don't know. This could, but this is. I get what they're doing here. This is all part of that. Be a first adopter, which we've seen a lot of games do. You can get a Wayfair pre-order pack, which is $75. You're going to get access to Future Beta 2 test phase. You'll get 2 months of game time when the game launches. You'll get $25 in Embers, which is their in-game marketplace credits, and Thicket's Endowment, which is an accessory cosmetic skin. All that will be applied to your account when the game goes live. And also, just so everybody knows, there is no play to win in this game. So they are going to have this currency system within the cash store, kind of like all these other games have had, the microtransaction. But none of it will affect anything regarding gameplay. It'll only be some cosmetic stuff and things like that.
Gotcha.
Something that confuses me on games sometimes, maybe I'm just crazy. Beta is early and alpha is later, because alpha in my head comes first. So.
No, I think we've been watching alpha footage, or at least beta 1 footage. So I mean, they're further along. So you're right, beta is later on in the game.
Because I just posted this article. This article right here was written just 2 days ago, and it was talking about how Intemperate Studios has revealed a plan surrounding the alpha release. Like they haven't even done that. It says which has been called Alpha 1. The company is set to release the exact schedule. However, it has confirmed that people will be invited to Alpha 1 test phase this year before the game gets a release date. The test phase will essentially allow testers to check out the mechanics and systems of the upcoming game. So then it makes me wonder, what are they offering for people to buy right now? Is it just like the
guaranteed beta access? For one,
when they open it,
right.
Basically.
So like this, it's telling you here. Hold on, I don't want to buy it. I want to just read it here. So like what they mean here, access to Future Beta 2 test phase. So that means when they get into phase 2 of beta, you're guaranteed access.
Plus, you said something about 2 months of the game when that game is released.
You're going to get 2 months of game time. So I think that means they're doing the WoW model, which is $15 a month
subscription. Okay.
Which if it's good enough, I think people will still pay that. And then you're getting that $25 towards the Ember Marketplace, and then you get your own accessory cosmetic skin, which I'm assuming will be some kind of exclusive skin that no one else can ever have type situation. A lot of people like that.
It said the company also revealed that Alpha 1 tests won't be under NDA, meaning that fans...
That means they can talk about it. They're not going to be... So streamers can actually go play it and then show everyone stuff or play and tell people about it. So it said they also confirmed that the year will have a public testing of Ashes and creation of Apocalypse Castle Siege, so a specific siege, where the fans will get to check out a number of siege weapons, objective-based warfare, and other systems. So there'd be almost like a mini public trial that's free for everybody. Sounds like a big war zone, because they have touted it's going to have open world PvP. It's going to have your sieges. It's going to have the caravan wars where you're fighting over caravans. And then they're also going to have arena play like WoW, where you play in an arena 3-on-3 or that kind of thing. So they're pretty much, I mean, that's the thing about it being ambitious. They're taking everything from any MMO that's ever been made and basically dumping it all into one game.
Right. Really. That's why these people are going too much. You can't take every good thing and put it in one game and expect it to actually come out and work. That's why they're saying that. Yeah. I get why it sounds too good to be true, but it's one of those that if it is true, they nailed it. They did it here.
And someone's got to try, in my opinion. Yeah. If no one ever tried, then we're all going to be negative Nancy and never have a good new experience.
Yep. People got to fail too. You know what I mean? Not everybody succeeds. Trust me.
Oh yeah. But you can tell they're putting in the work and want this to be successful. From what I'm seeing, video wise, it certainly seems like they're moving to make things happen, and it doesn't seem like they're moving too slow. Like they're not pulling a daisy here on us where not much is happening. So we'll see. I mean, as this thing gets more popular, guys, we'll let you know. I guarantee we'll be on it. You might hear from us next year that this was a turd, and we'll just add it. We'll just add it to Crackdown and Google Stadia.
Yep,
2020.
So there you go. Well, that's all I got, guys. Like I said, I could go more in depth with it, but geez, there'd be a lot of talking.
That's enough for now. We'll hit on it again between now and when it comes out. I'm sure multiple times.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys joining and listening, though. Had a great show. Enjoyed doing it.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, guys. If you like the show, please go over to our Patreon, check it out. You can donate to us on there if you'd like, just to help out the show, help with expenses, and putting more into the product. But if not, we're still going to be here every Friday, free, baby, on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify. I mean, iHeartRadio. Yep. You think it, we're probably on it. Go check us out. Let your gamer friends know. Let your gamer dads know. And we are going to be having a giveaway coming up here very soon, and also checking into getting some merch going for us.
Yep, the merch we'll have soon. We'll get to show you guys. We'll have some shirts and stuff. And I was going to say, for anybody who's done the Patreon before we had merch to give, whatever tier and stuff like that you may be at, you're going to get whatever the new guys get when we add that gear to the new Patreon. So we're not gonna forget about our early listeners and supporters for sure.
Yep. And we may be having a new sponsor come on the show. We're in talks with them. They do a little Twitch stream. We like them. They've played with us before, so possibly maybe getting some support from them so that we can give out more things to you guys. We want to do more with the giveaways and building the community. So stick with us on that, guys. And with that said,
stay delirious.
Stay dadding.
And stay gaming. This has been a Delirious Dads production. For more information about the show, visit our website at www.deliriousdadsgaming.com. You can also find us on facebook.com/deliriousdadsgaming, twitch.tv, and YouTube. Make sure you like and share our pages to help us grow the channel. You can listen to the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and Spotify. Please leave a rating and review if you enjoy the show. Thank you again for listening, and we hope to see you next time. This has been a Delirious Dads production. For more information about the show, visit our website at www.deliriousdadsgaming.com. You can also find us on facebook.com/deliriousdadsgaming.
Dang, how long is the end? It seemed like way longer than usual.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Forever, bro.
It's never that long.
Alright, so switch to man.
You getting off there?
Yeah, I'm going off there. Peace, brother. Alright, chat.
Clint's messing with us. There's no way it's still going. Right? He's just bobbing his head.
I
Acting like
guess.
something's happening.
I have no clue, bro.
Oh, man. All right, I guess I'm gonna go.